Good morning everybody. Dear participants here in person, but most important online, as more than 200 people registered online. As chair of WICI Europe, I'm pleased and honored in the name of WICI to welcome the fourth European State of the Art Conference for the second time here in Brussels at the heart of Europe. As you will notice, when you look at the program, we have a dense, rich, diversified program today with speakers from very different various horizons, public sector, regulators, corporates, investors, academics, etc., etc. And also various countries. Just to give some example, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Malta, Netherlands, Switzerland, UK, USA, etc. In terms of organizations, we will only have one short break of 20 minutes in the morning at 11, and then a 60 minutes breaks at 1 p.m. for the lunch. So thank you again for being here. Welcome. And before we jump in, we are going to have a 5 minutes contribution from our colleague, Mr. Takayuki Sumita, chair of WICI Japan, and then some words from Hans Buysse, chair of EFRAG. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your introduction. My name is Takayuki Sumita, the executive board member in WICI Japan. First of all, congratulations on the fourth WICI Europe conference with this big audience, including an excellent speakers. And secondly, I'd like to thank you for the activities in WICI Europe, especially Jean-Philippe, Stefano, and Mario. And today I'd like to express a very short explanation about what is happening in Japan concerning integrated report or integrated thinking or corporate disclosure based on the value creation. First, as you well know, more than 800 companies have already issued integrated report in the year 2023. And the number of the companies who have disclosed the integrated reporting is increasing, and at the same time, the quality of the report is improving. In Japan, as you well know, there's no obligation, no mandatory rules for the disclosure of integrated report, but this big number of companies has already published it. WICI Japan is the host of the Integrated Reporting Award. That's why we know well about the quality of the integrated report. And in the process, we recognize the improvement in the quality of the integrated report is quite clear. And the award of integrated report by WICI is this year we will have the 11th award. And in the WICI Japan, concerning the disclosure of the non-financial issues, we hold the study group or subgroup for the human resources during 2022 and 2023, based on the viewpoint of value creation. In other words, we studied a lot about how we should disclose the human capital related information based on the value creation. And the report has already been issued, and some of the summary is already translated into English, and you can take a look at the summary from the webpage, homepage of WICI Japan. And in the government side, we have slight mandatory rules during the end of the fiscal 2023 fiscal year. In that mandate, each company should report human capital related issues in their annual financial report. The mandatory disclosure is covering 7 main fields with the examples of 19 elements. But actually, many companies have already disclosed the human capital related information in the last annual financial report, mainly in the end of June this year. And another improvement in Japan related to the integrated report is the establishment of the IR community, integrated reporting community, which was advised by the IFRS Foundation. The Japanese community has been established in September this year with the participation of Tokyo Stock Exchange, GPIF, Sustainability Standard Board in Japan, WICI Japan, ESG Study Group, and Ministry of Economy and Industry, and Cabinet Office. And this committee is coordinated by WICI Japan. And finally, I'd like to very briefly touch upon how Japanese companies see the movement in Europe. Very frankly speaking, many Japanese companies have some concern on the progress in the WICI Europe, in the European Commission's movement concerning the regulation about the non-financial disclosure. Especially, the regulations is quite detailed, and many items is detailedly defined to be disclosed. As a result, in the actual disclosure by companies, what is the value creation mechanism of the company is not clear. Certainly, the detailed information is very valuable for some people, but if the value creation mechanism is not clear, that is not so welcomed by investors and other stakeholders. The other issue is the possible extraterritorial application of the regulation in some 3 or 5 years' time. And I hope that in this conference, there will be many active discussion on quite important issues, and we will have some kind of common idea to proceed the value creation-based corporate reporting mechanism. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation, Stefano, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I think, Stefano, you and I go back for quite some time. I'm not only working for EFFRAG, as you will know, but my original position within EFFRAG was the defense of the users, and of course, also from that context, we were in contact. Let me tell you something about EFFRAG, who you all know, of course, but specifically the sustainability journey that EFFRAG has started in 2018, at that time with the European Reporting Lab, which was an initiative by the European Commission and a specific request to Jean-Paul Gauzès. At that time, we already prepared a number of the sustainability rules, and WICI was involved in those working groups. What did we do in the meantime? Well, we had an enormous evolution in the meantime. We went starting from let's say, a request that was coming by Mr. Dombrovskis to starting up the, let's say, rules about and the standards about sustainability. We went fairly quickly and started working upon the publication proposal for the CSRD and the letter of Commissioner McGuinness to start developing the standards in a project mode. Meaning that for EFFRAG this was a completely new task, because EFFRAG up till then was not a standard setter, but was now entering the field of standard setting. What a lot of people did not expect is that together with the European Commission and with all our stakeholders, indeed already in April 2022, we had an exposure of the draft ESRSs published. We continue very hard working together with the European Commission and all our stakeholders, and by the 22nd of November, the first 12 ESRSs were submitted. And they were also approved upon by the 31st of July 2023. On the 18th of October, we had some still fights going on, but the first set were finally approved by the EU co-legislators. The work has not finished, it just started, because we all know that we had a conference a couple of days ago where the main theme is we move from the ESRSs as we have developed them now into the implementation of those ESRSs. I know a number of items come up, of course, here, which is we need to think about connectivity between financial reporting, sustainability reporting, and many other items. Connectivity is not, I just discussed it before we started the session, this is not new. Connectivity has been there already for quite some time, as already from the time when we started with the IRCC. Of course, now we are not alone, and we are very, very conscious that we are not the only ones making sustainability rules. There's other parties, such as ISSB and GRI, with whom we try to work as closely as possible to obtain a maximum interoperability. But maybe a number of smaller issues. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing, which is a very important one. It is clear, and I mentioned it before, we have moved into implementation. And I think that Commissioner McGuinness was very clear about that. We just started, now we finish the job, and we need to finish the job. Structure of EFRAG for a number of people always seems very, very complicated, and that is why, and I will get back to that in our strategy, that is why we are doing or covering both angles and financial reporting on the one hand side, but also, of course, sustainability reporting, and that is why we also have a fairly complicated structure. Bear in mind with all the stakeholders, not only let's say standard setters, the industry, but also NGOs, which makes it now and then a little bit complicated. I'm going to be very honest into that. What is our strategy? And it's something that we developed very, very recently, because we are ready with our 24-27 strategy. We know that the environment is changing very rapidly, and that sets new conditions for EFRAG and EFRAG's success. We are a growing organization. Bear in mind that a couple of years ago, a year ago, we were about 20 people. We are now 50 people, and we are going to 70 people. And still, it's going to be very tough to deliver on time what we need to deliver, and certainly implement the first 12 ESRS, and then move back to other items that are still there, sector analysis, sector sustainability standards, and what have you. Most important is we have moved from financial reporting to corporate reporting, and the idea is literally we should be Europeans' voice, or let's say Europeans' voice on the one hand side, but also serving the European public interest on corporate reporting. And last but not least, that is why we have put our strategy into two separate pillars. On the one hand side, our objectives for the financial reporting pillar, where we still are there to influence the international standard setting process so that we have, or that is resulting in IFRS accounting standards that are fit for purpose. But then, of course, on the other hand side, the strategic objective and priorities for the sustainability reporting pillar, which is, of course, ensuring successful development and implementation of ESRSs interoperable with international standard setters such as the ISSB and GRI. There's conditions to that. It's not a walk in the park. It's going to change still a lot. We still are working to ensure proper funding while remaining independent. We must ensure that EFRAG is an attractive organization to work and has sufficient excellent human resources also for future projects, and such as intangibles, for instance, and ensure that EFRAG's governance and due process is fit for use. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Michel, I stayed in my timing? Yes? Thank you.
I don't know if we have to sit here or maybe we can... Do we have a chair? You sit there or... Okay. There's so